sick, sometimes the last thing you want to do is go to the doctor's office. And when many in-person visits aren't possible, like during social distancing, you need an alternative. With telehealth, you can see your doctors virtually on a smartphone, tablet, or computer without leaving your home. Here's what you need to know about telehealth. Telehealth, also known as telemedicine, helps make healthcare more accessible by connecting you with providers through video chat or a phone call. These virtual visits can replace certain types of in-person appointments, helping to control the spread of germs, reducing travel time, and lowering healthcare costs. A growing number of providers now offer virtual visits, including general practitioners, specialists, and psychologists. Check with your provider to see if they offer telehealth options, and also check with your insurance company to make sure they're covered. Medical emergencies in certain cases, however, may still require a trip to a doctor's office or hospital. Virtual healthcare is easy to set up. Here are some common steps, though the experience may vary from provider to provider. For a telehealth appointment where you and your doctor can see each other, you'll need a device with a camera and a microphone, like a computer, tablet, or smartphone, and an internet connection. To make an appointment, call your provider's office or visit their website. Before your scheduled visit, your provider's office will instruct you on how to connect with your physician, most likely by texting or emailing you a link or through an app that they'll ask you to download onto your device. If you don't have a provider that offers virtual visits, check with your insurance company. They might offer their own telehealth service. You could also try a licensed online telehealth company like Teladoc or Amwell. Virtual visits are similar to in-person doctor's visits. Once you're connected, your provider will conduct a virtual exam and ask you to describe your symptoms. They may ask you to take your temperature or measure your heart rate. Based on that information, they can diagnose certain conditions and may schedule virtual follow-ups to check on your progress. Though in some cases, they may ask you to come in for in-office tests and procedures like blood work and hands-on exams. Doctors can also prescribe medications during virtual appointments and send the prescription to the patient's local drugstore, though there may be restrictions for certain controlled substances. In March 2020, Medicare expanded its coverage of telemedicine services in response to the coronavirus pandemic. The expansion granted a wider range of services during the public health emergency, including remote doctor's visits, routine follow-ups, and mental health counseling. For more help tips, go to aarp.org/health.
Folks, welcome to the show. Get ready to meet your host for the night, Arizona's very own hip historian himself, Marshall Shore.
Well, hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm so happy you can join us on May 13th. Oh my gosh. As we get ready to enjoy an amazing happy hour, just you wait and see. Oh my gosh, we've got so much fun coming up. And I want to say welcome to all of you for being here. So thank you all so much for joining us. Some of you are watching us on Facebook. Some are on Twitch. Some I know are watching on YouTube. So we always have a fun crowd. And I did want to talk a little bit about kind of today in history. So back in 1929, Barney, a well-known auto racer, was in an accident up in Winslow, Arizona. And there was actually a road scraper in front of him, creating so much dust he couldn't see it, and he wound up hitting it. So just as we get ready for all those haboobs, so be leery, just like Barney did do not do what Barney did. Be aware of your surroundings. Don't be a Barney. So also today is National Apple Pie Day. So I hope you all enjoyed some apple pie. There's still time to make some apple pie, or at least run to the market and maybe get a frozen one and throw it in the oven. So it is also Frog Jumping Day, Now, I don't quite know. I was trying to figure out whether it was in terms of because spring and tadpoles are growing into frogs, or whether it was because there are going to be lots of kids out of school soon doing their frog jumps with everybody, or even, growing up in the Midwest, lots of cities and little towns had a variety of things, including like frog jumping contest. So I'm not quite sure why we have Frog Jumping Day or why or what even frog jumping it's celebrating. So, I vote we celebrate all of them. It is also National Crouton Day. So maybe if you're having your unhealthy apple pie, maybe even with some cheddar cheese on it, you want a nice healthy salad beforehand with some croutons on it. And, in talking about greens, we're going to talk about more greens coming up in just a moment. But what can you expect tonight? Well, we always have a little bit of music history as well as some show and tell. We always have some fun trivia, and tonight is no exception. We always have Little Arizona talking about a small town under 1,000 people, and we have hit that on the mark today. It's actually a little town some of you may have been to with under 100 people. As well as we have a cocktail, which is kind of exciting because it really kind of connects back to our guest today. And we have a whole plethora of folks we're going to be bringing on. So happy you can join us all here. Now, if this is your first time watching, you might wonder, who is that man on my screen and why is he there? What's he doing? Well, my name is Marshall Shore. I got here to Arizona a little over 21 years ago. Prior to that, I was living in Brooklyn, working at this beautiful Carnegie building, and decided it was time to change, to get out of the cold, get out of the ice, get out of the wind, get out of the having to salt a sidewalk, all that fun stuff, which wasn't so fun. And so I traded that for a library in South Phoenix, the Harmon Library, which today is now a beautiful, amazing library. And, and I think actually even Harmon Library is now open. I know last week I did make it into Burton Bar to do some research and found just what I needed to. It was my first venture into a library in over a year. It felt kind of nice. Actually, it felt really good to be surrounded by books and lots of information, and found just what I needed. Now, to get here, loaded everything we own into a big orange cube, a U-Haul. And so, they have their World International headquarters right here in the Valley of the Sun, which I think is pretty darn cool. Now, when we got here, we moved into a beautiful 1956 ranch. And originally, it was so many tones of beige. I'm happy to say now it is a lovely two-tone of seafoam and cantaloupe. Now, the house is pretty much a time capsule. I mean, there's what my kitchen looks like today. All that buttercream yellow tile with matching in-the-wall oven with no window, as well as even the push buttons inset in the wall for the matching stovetop. And that kind of looks like the rest of the house. It kind of is stuck in a time warp. Now, as soon as I got here, all I kept hearing about how there was no history here. But I knew that wasn't true because every time I went for an adventure somewhere, whether it was on foot, on my bike, in a car, I kept running across so many amazing people, places, and stories. And then there's that post-war boom that I think in a lot of ways made the Arizona that we all know and love today. All those GIs that either were stationed here, trained here, or passed through on their way to somewhere else. And after the war, they were moving here in huge numbers, causing a housing boom, and in some cases looking for a house just like mine. And so my name is Marshall Shore. I'm also known as the Hip Historian. Now you might wonder, how does one get a name like the Hip Historian? Well, every year on February 14th, we have a huge celebration for ourselves. And on February 14th of 2012, it was a really big celebration because it was 100 years of statehood. And so There was lots of stuff going on, and someone gave me 15 minutes on the main stage to talk about anything I wanted to. And I chose to talk about an event called Mask of the Yellow Moon. It ran from 1926 to 1955. At its height, it had about 5,000 high school and college students performing, and it was a rite of passage for so many youth that were behind the scenes or on stage making sure it went off. And I was lucky enough to find 3 dresses from the late 30s that were designed by students and made by Home Economics. And so we had a chance to talk about the Mask of Yellow Moon as they paraded those amazing 1930s dresses around on stage. Now, that's a lot of what I was doing up until about a year ago, doing a lot of lectures across the state as well as tours. And, that really kind of came to a screeching halt. And so that's really why I started Arizona History Happy Hour, as a way to connect with people, share stories, and learn. Because every time you share a story, people share with you, and it's so much fun. And so that's how we started doing this on a weekly basis. And we've been doing this now for over a year. Now, some of you have already discovered there's a chat off to the side. Feel free to type in messages there. If after the show, if you want to make a comment, here is how you can do that: via Facebook, Instagram, email, or even via my website. So it's all Hip Historian through all of that. Now, if you are watching, I know Anita already beat me to the chase. There is a share button. So if you want to click on that, share this so that way all your friends can see all the amazing fun we're going to be having with Arizona history. So first up, we have Little Arizona. So, I said I moved here from New York, but what I didn't say was I originally grew up in a town of about 25 people, 2 roads, 1 stop sign. And so, moving to Arizona, I really kind of have an affinity for not even just living in the 5th largest city in the country, but also for so many of those small towns. I'm now in the process of working on a book called Little Arizona, where we get to explore a variety of so many towns. And so we are going to talk about Oatman, Arizona, which is up in Mojave. See, Anita, you guessed. We actually just did a road trip a couple days ago, made it all the way up to Oatman, which has a population of 43 people. And it was founded back in 1915. Now, it was founded because it was mining. You had folks who had discovered mines up there, and they were pulling out, back in the day, like $10 million back in 1915 when the town was founded. So it was a thriving little town. And you can see, it is nestled in the Black Mountains. Now, what has kept it alive is the fact that back in the early days, when they were developing the National Trail that would go on to become Route 66, Oatman decided that they needed that trail to go right to them. So this is the highway. This is old Route 66 that goes to Oatman. And so you can take that road through the mountains, and it's a really spectacular drive. Now, Oatman itself is named for Olive Oatman, who was kind of as part of Western lore. She was originally held captive by an indigenous tribe and then sold to a friendly local tribe. And eventually she was released back to her family. But because of that, they named Oatman after her. Now, the Oatman Hotel was one of the buildings that survived a 1921 fire that burnt down most of the small buildings. The Oatman Hotel is a 2-story adobe structure. It is the oldest landmark the oldest building in Mojave County. Now, it is also said to be where Clark Gable and Carol Lombard may have honeymooned after they were married in Kingman. And that hotel is still in operation today as a museum and a restaurant. And if you go in, People have been for years stapling dollar bills to any possible surface. And so it looks almost like a cave or stalactites or stalagmites. It's also famous for donkeys or burros that wander the streets. And so you can feed them. Now, some websites say bring carrots, but actually the locals discourage you from bringing carrots. They sell alfalfa pellets that you can buy or trade the carrots that you brought for those alfalfa pellets. And you could feed the burros. And if you find one you really like, you can adopt it and even bring it home to you. Now, it is said that 500,000 people flow through Oatman every year to partake of the history of they do a kind of a bank robbery out in the street, kind of a little play. So it is a fun place to go, spend an afternoon and have an amazing drive and look at the Black Mountains. Well, and it is indeed a happy hour. And because it is a happy hour, we need a cocktail. And so I am happy to say we do have a cocktail. And so it is called Desert Bloom. Now it is a little bit of gin, some lime juice, some aquafaba, which is basically chickpea juice, which is something that's really easy to then froth up and everything, as well as some cane syrup and some basil and all kinds of good stuff. Oops, hold on just a moment. All right, so let's bring on my bartender. So that way, and so PJ is really great and basically makes it oh so easy for me. And what I love is we've been doing this for over a year now. So there are lots of amazing cocktails. So this is the Desert Bloom. All that gin and all that good stuff in there. So there we have an oh so tasty cocktail. All right. That is indeed really good. And the whole reason why we're doing, PJ has gotten so good with his storytelling with cocktails that we're going to find out where did that basil, where did that cane syrup come from, which is really kind of exciting. So through the miracle of modern technology, we have some special guests who are going to be joining us. And they are from IRC. So let me bring on some folks. All right. Well, hello, everybody.
Hey.
How's everybody doing?
We're good.
Great.
Oh, and we don't need to see my silent bartender. He doesn't have anything to say anymore, so we will take him off.
But he was looking so cool, so I was there for it. I was living.
All right. Well, I will let you all introduce yourselves.
Luna, you're on mute.
You're on mute, Danielle.
Oh man, I've been talking that whole time. This is Mikey, little pug Mikey. Hi everyone, I am Danielle Luna from the International Rescue Committee, overseeing our small business program where we provide access to capital and small business support to refugee entrepreneurs who are looking to pursue their passions through small business. And I'll toss it over to Jesselyn, Miss Fabulous.
Miss Fabulous. Yes. Hi, everyone. As Danielle said, my name is Jesselyn, also known as Miss Fabulous. I actually have the pleasure of working, Danielle is my supervisor, so I actually work in the E program. Yeah, and I do all of those wonderful things that she already mentioned. So,
Our fabulous financial coach.
yeah, financial coach and amongst other things.
Extraordinaire, yes.
Oh, thank you.
And yeah, hey guys, my name is Anna Cobb. I work with the International Rescue Committee New Routes program. So we help refugees and asylees and immigrants access farmland throughout the Phoenix area. Some of the recipe ideas that were in that drink, like the borage, came directly from the IRC New Routes program. So we have a produce box on a weekly basis. I hope there's a place I can put the link if anyone wants to check us out further. I'll talk to Marshall about that if there's any place I can put the link. But
Yep, there's actually a cat off to the side.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So I guess last but not least, I'm Alan Cobb. I am the only non-Arizona resident. I am Anna's dad, so I'm very
Nice.
proud. And we actually look alike, which people tell us all the time. But Jesselyn, your earrings are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Good vibes.
They're awesome, and I'm a big history buff, but more broad-based. Or I'm a Kansan, so I know a lot of the stuff about Kansas. But so Marshall, I've met people like you all over the country that know so much about their home state, which I'm very interested to learn more. So Anna, let me know about this trivia contest, which I'm going to get last. I'll just tell you. But I appreciate what everybody at IRC does. It's literally the Lord's work. Well, whether you're religious or not. So anyway.
Indeed. All right. And then let's see. Okay, so we do trivia here, but we don't do trivia like you normally have trivia, where it's all about what you know. But here we have our 11 questions. They're all multiple choice. We'll go through those, and then we'll take a little bit of an Arizona music history break, and then we will launch into those answers and tell the stories of them, which it's all about sharing. And that way we all walk away knowing more than we did when we came in to the show this evening. So that's always the fun of it. So all right. All right. So now you can keep track of things if you would like. You can keep track of them on some people do it in the chat. If you've got a pad and paper, maybe you have a machete and some sugar cane and you want to carve your answers into that. You can do however it makes you happy. All right. So our first question is, which famous refugee was one of the founding members of the International Rescue Committee, IRC? A, Sigmund Freud, B, Madeleine Albright, C, Albert Einstein, or D, Freddie Mercury?
So
all right.
How do we answer these? I'm sorry. I'm very
so actually, well, don't answer it yet. Well, I mean, since you're actually on screen, don't answer it yet.
Okay.
Because you'll give away the answer.
Because I know the answer to this because my daughter is Anna.
So
We love you, Dad.
So so if you don't know the answer, you can take a guess, and we're getting ready to go on to question 2. All right. According to the U.S. law, the definition of a refugee includes which of the following elements? A, someone who has left his or her country. B, someone who is unable or unwilling to return to their country. C, a person who was fled due to fear of persecution and violence. D, all of the above. So while you're going through those and debating, we are going to go on to question 3. Historically, Arizona has resettled the highest number of refugees from which country of origin? A, Somalia, B, Cuba, C, Vietnam, or D, Iraq? So where are we resettling the largest number of refugees from what country of origin? All right. Moving on to question 4. Approximately how many refugees have resettled in Arizona since 1980? Is it A, 684, B, 15,000, C, 62,500, or is it 83,000, which is D? All right. So which of those do you think is the number of refugees that have been resettled here in this fair state of Arizona? All right. Which of the following statements regarding refugees and asylum seekers is true? A, under U.S. law, there are 2 humanitarian protection systems for refugees: asylum and refugee resettlement. B, individuals have the right to seek asylum in the U.S. regardless of their country of origin or current immigration status. C, not every asylum seeker will be recognized as a refugee, but every refugee is initially an asylum seeker.
This sounds like a work quiz.
It kind of is.
So that's not fair.
You cut off D, which says all of the above.
Right. And D, all of the above.
Oh, of course, that's the answer.
All right. Approximately how many guests have stayed at the Welcome Center, which provides support to asylum seekers in Phoenix, to date just this year? Is it A, 1,347, B, 2,500, C, 4,500, or D, 6,139? Approximately how many guests have stayed at the Welcome Center?
Who wrote these questions? They're so hard.
All right. 7. How many refugee families have purchased homes through IRC's Savings Match Program since 2016? Is it A, 29, B, 42, or C, 18? All right. Coming into the home stretch, here we are at question 8. Approximately how many jobs have been created by refugee-owned businesses enrolled in IRC's micro enterprise program since 2016? A, 55, B, 99, C, 200. All right. Moving on. All right. Question 9. Among the 17 countries of origin represented by farmers in IRC New Roots Garden Program, what is the most popular crop grown during the summer season? A, watermelon, B, sugarcane, C, okra, or D, eggplant? I don't know, but all of those sound really good. And I know, and just because we said the word sugarcane, I'm going to take a sip. And Danielle, because you beat heck out of some sugarcane.
Sorry, that's my dog.
So much love that goes into this by our farmer Kofi. Oh my goodness.
Indeed.
So
And we'll
much
talk about
admiration
that.
for him.
So much good stuff. All right. How many countries are represented at the World Bazaar Phoenix, a semi-annual community event in the Camelback Corridor that highlights refugee-owned businesses? A, 11, B, 19, C, 29. All right. And then we have one bonus question. Where can you support refugee-owned businesses year-round? A, New Roots weekly produce boxes. B, downtown Phoenix Farmers Market. C, Camelback light rail corridor. Or D, all of the above. And I'm sure we have a lot to talk about with this one. So, all right. So while everybody is kind of going through, some of you might be reframing some of your answers. Before you lock in your final vote, we are going to do a little bit of Arizona music history. And so we're going to talk about Sam Moore, who is a Southern soul and rhythm and blues artist. He has been called one of the greatest voices of the soul music era. He began his career singing gospel tunes and playing in the R&B circuit around Florida. In the early 60s, he got together with Dave and they created Sam and Dave. They then were put to work with Isaac Hayes, where their iconic hit Soul Man came from. That collaboration. And so that collaboration carried them on for years, as well as many other hits. And they actually reunited after breaking up for the Blues Brothers for Soul Man. In fact, Sam actually had a role in the second Blues Brother movie. Now, you can also find out more about Sam Moore through a documentary they did, Only the Strong Survive, where he talks about his drug addiction and overcoming that, as well as a book called Sam and Dave, telling the story of how they came to be. He also did a recording called I'm a Suns Fan, since him and his wife have relocated right here to Arizona, and they now run all of his tours right from here is their starting point as they jump on for the rest of the world to see and hear what has been called one of the most amazing voices of the rock era. I mean, he is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's in the Blues Hall of Fame. He is also in the Arizona Music Hall of Fame. So getting lots of accolades for that amazing voice. All right, so now we're ready for some answers. All right. So, which famous refugee was one of the founding members of the International Rescue Committee? That's right. C. Albert Einstein.
Yes, IRC was founded at the direction of Albert Einstein, as they were working to help those fleeing Nazi Germany back in 1933 in New York City. And we've been here in Arizona for 25 years in refugee resettlement. So a little fun history, but actually, yeah, each of those individuals there are very well-known refugees who have contributed quite significantly throughout our history. That is our founding father.
Well, I had no idea it was Albert Einstein who started the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Fun fact.
Yeah, indeed. All right, question 2. According to U.S. law, the definition of a refugee includes which of the following elements? And you may have already guessed it was D, all of the above.
Yes, that is correct. A refugee, by definition, is someone who has left his or her own country, unable or unwilling to return due to a well-founded fear of persecution and violence. There's a significant waiting period that many must go through UNHCR, background checks, everything you could think of for years, sometimes 20 years, a lifetime, waiting in refugee camps and processing in order to receive the opportunity to be resettled through the U.S. Refugee Resettlement Program.
All right, question 3. Historically, Arizona has resettled the highest number of refugees from which country of origin?
That one got me.
Did it?
Yeah. Like these
So
are
the top 4. These are the top 4 historically.
I wanted to say Somalia.
I'm with Joanna. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
Up there, it's close.
Yeah.
But these are top 4, and these are Iraqi restaurants, Iraqi-owned restaurants, Casa de Falafel and Crepe House Cafe, and amazing food. Casa de Falafel is actually on several top-rated falafel lists, and not only in Arizona, but nationally, so please go check them out. And Crepe House Cafe just opened at Westgate, so you can find some amazing crepes there with a little Middle Eastern flavor.
So, and where is Casa de Falafel?
Casa de Falafel is on Cactus, and is it 63rd, ladies? I think it's 59th, 63rd. It's located in it's actually 59th, on in a gas station there. So it's a hidden gem.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so many might not recognize it going by, that inside that gas station you have some of the best falafel in the state. So highly recommended. And this is here at the House of Representatives recently. They catered a lunch there, which was a huge hit, and Miss Fabulous we have there in the picture. But yeah, amazing refugee-owned businesses throughout the state. You can learn more on our website at rescue.org and follow us on Facebook to engage more with the refugee-owned businesses throughout our community.
All right, question 4. Which of the following statements regarding refugees and asylum seekers is true? It is D, all of the above.
Oh, thank you for putting that address in there, Jess.
You're welcome.
All of the above, indeed. So there are some common misconceptions about what it means to be a refugee and asylum seeker. As it says here, every refugee initially starts out as an asylum seeker, so someone who is forced to flee their home due to persecution. And asylum seekers are in a waiting period, so waiting to get that refugee status. But it is a legal status as well under U.S. law.
All right. And question 6. How many guests have stayed at the Welcome Center? So you might want to explain what the Welcome Center is.
Yes, absolutely. So the Welcome Center is a safe space that welcomes asylum seekers and helps them to get settled as they're awaiting their review by a judge to get that asylee status and that we were referring to. The Welcome Center, if we look back at those numbers, the first one, what was it, 1347 were how many guests we welcomed at the Welcome Center last year, throughout the entire year. Just this year to date, we're in May now, we've had over 6,000 guests at the Welcome Center. So as you can see, a lot of support there that is needed. We provide them assistance with connecting with their point of contacts here in the US, help them to make their travel arrangements, give them a safe place to stay, and support as they're transitioning through the asylum seeking process. So a lot of needs for volunteers, donations, again, opportunity to learn more on our website at rescue.org of how you can get involved and support new arrival asylum seekers.
All right, and how many refugee families have purchased homes through IRC's Savings Match Program? Which 42. I didn't even know IRC was doing things like this, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's an amazing program that provides match dollars to those that are saving for a home, a business, a car. So this is an opportunity to work on establishing a savings and then using that savings with a match that's provided through our individual development account savings program. That money is combined to then purchase a home. So a really amazing program, as refugees often are very motivated to to purchase homes, purchase cars, start small businesses. This is an incredible program that provides a pathway to be able to do so.
Indeed. And so that answer was B42.
42.
Which is pretty incredible. Oh, and I think Pam actually guessed okra. I was hoping it was watermelon, but
I would hope that too, actually. Wait, did we skip 7?
Anna,
No,
you want to
we
tell us a
didn't
little
skip
bit
6.
about the farmers here?
Yeah, so the correct choice is, of course, C. So we have tons of refugee growers that grow okra throughout the summer season. It's a huge staple crop in a lot of countries where we serve refugees. Okra can be cooked in many different ways. You can chop it up and put it in a soup. You can use it as a garnish on top of a salad. There's just so many things you can do with it. So okra is the #1 source of produce that refugee growers grow. Also, actually, every other option on that answer choice, the watermelon, eggplant, I forgot the first one because I can't see it right now, but those are also heavily produced during the summertime, and they're all summer crops that each of our growers produce. So that's kind of a little tidbit of information on the New Roots program and our most heavily produced crop during the summertime.
But glad to see they also do some of those other crops as well. So not just okra, but all kinds of good stuff. All right. So approximately how many jobs has been created since 2016 with the micro enterprise program?
200. You would have been right if you guessed 200. And this is Proden here, one of the entrepreneurs that you see him here at World Bazaar. BNR African Fashion is his business on 67th Avenue in Thomas, sells amazing African clothing. And yeah, the refugees as a part of their resettlement within 90 days of arrival, they must secure work, and often that's entry-level wages that aren't necessarily enough to provide and lead to that asset growth that we were talking about. So entrepreneurship, provides a pathway to generate additional income, to pursue personal passions, and we're able to provide funding through the program to do that, to access loans and increase access to entrepreneurship. But yeah, then refugees are significant contributors to the workforce and to small business development. In fact, immigrants and refugees are more than twice as likely as American-born individuals to start a business. So a lot of passion, a lot of motivation, a lot of persistence to pursue their passions through our microenterprise program.
So I know restaurants. Are there other types of businesses that refugees are opening up?
Absolutely. So we have a wide range, as far wide as you can think of. We have many artists, jewelers, artisans, bakers, restaurants, auto shops, auto detailing. We have individuals that make curtains, draperies, designers. Yeah, earrings. Look at those earrings are from World Bazaar, actually.
Nice.
Yeah. So as far and wide as you can think of, very individualized, and we like to provide a personalized approach depending on what the business is to help them navigate the various resources available to support them on their pathway to launching their business.
All right. And how many countries are represented at the World Bazaar just up the street from where I am? Up at 19th Avenue and Camelback, there at the light rail station. I'm so looking forward to this event happening again. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
We can't wait to bring it back. And I know I've seen you shopping there. There's some amazing finds at the World Bazaar that features over 65 businesses from around the world twice per year. Unfortunately, it was put on hold due to COVID, but as you mentioned, we certainly hope to see it come back. But it is an event that takes place on 19th Avenue and Camelback, right off of the light rail there. And this is an area, community that many refugees reside, over 28 different languages spoken just within a square mile of that.
Was it on up to 28? Because I know as of last census, it was 27. And I was hoping with the new census, I haven't seen the numbers, but I was hoping it went up.
Yeah, we did conduct a census in that, a lot of census events with businesses there, actually, in the Camelback corridor.
Oh, cool.
So still waiting for the full data to come out, but yeah, it's a very diverse community and lots of refugee-owned businesses within that community, many of which participate in the World Bazaar. And yeah, so you would have been right if you guessed answer C there. And amazing space. What was that?
Just wanted to add a side note. Camelback Corridor is also where obviously Camelback Yard is, which is the New Roots site. So that's also on 16th Avenue and Camelback, where you can pick up produce boxes, get a garden bed, get a tour of the greenhouse. So it is a heavily used and populated area for a lot of different sectors that we're involved in.
Beautiful global hub. So highly recommend you go out, take a walking tour. Marshall had led a walking tour, food tour.
Indeed, and I think that might be coming up as our next question. Oh my gosh. Well, you know, I mean, the World Bazaar is so much fun because it's not just food, but there's also entertainment. There's all the global stage where there's all kinds of music, dance. I mean, it's a little potpourri of everything, kind of global, which is so much fun.
Build bridges, connect with the community, and highlight those who are contributing so much to our local community. So we certainly hope to see it come back. Typically, you'll see the World Bazaar around the holidays. Miss Jess, Miss Fabulous, is always running around there leading the show.
So what are the current thoughts on December of bringing back the market? Are you just kind of waiting to see how everything's going, or?
Yeah, I mean, it is our hope. It's certainly been something that the businesses have been asking for. They want to see back in the community. What we would really love to see is to find a permanent home for the World Bazaar on the Camelback corridor. So that's something certainly, you know, we're working to do with our partners in the community, you know, with LISC, with Local First, Vitalist, so many, City of Phoenix, so many amazing partners come together for the World Bazaar. And we want to see this be something that's happening on a more permanent basis, so that the entrepreneurs have a home that you can visit year round.
All right. And question 11, our bonus question. Where can you support refugee-owned businesses year-round?
I think it cut off a little there. What's the magic one, Jess? What do we got?
Well, I mean, it can be any of those.
I remember you said, I know this one.
Because it's all of them.
Exactly.
So that's how I know.
And I love how Danielle pulled up the photo of when we did the global walking food tour down 19th Avenue, because within a half mile, you can hit Vietnamese, 2 Vietnamese restaurants, a Vietnamese market, as well as a boba restaurant. And then you go a little further down, there's Ethiopian, Salvadoran, a South American market. You've got tech with Bhutanese. And now there's the Middle Eastern place, which is now open, which is really good as well. So I love how within, I mean, a half mile walking, you can hit so many different restaurants. And so that was the whole purpose of really doing that tour, was really getting a chance to expose people to little mom and pop restaurants.
Yeah, the event was a hit. We received great responses from the community, again, who didn't realize that there were so many different amazing businesses just within that walking corridor. And so that was an incredible experience, and I hope we can see you bring that back. But the picture that's there is at First Cup Ethiopian. Amazing coffee shop, Ethiopian food, and incredible family-run business there.
Indeed. I mean, yeah, it's a husband and wife team, and I love the coffee ceremony they do and everything.
Yes. So visit them on just right off of 19th Avenue in Camelback. And we have New Roots weekly produce boxes as a way that you can support businesses every week by ordering.
Tell us a little bit about that. What are the produce boxes? I mean, is it all refugee grown?
Yeah, the produce boxes are all refugee grown. So we have an option for a produce box, and we also have an option for a produce bag. A produce bag serves a week worth of produce for 2 people. A produce box serves a 1 week worth of produce for 4 people. And every single piece of produce in there is grown by a refugee grower, and 100% of the proceeds go to the growers. We don't take any profit or any cap to sell. So you can order those online on a weekly basis at camelbackyard.com, and you can pick up every Saturday at Camelback Yard and from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And it's the best way possible to support refugee farmers right now. And the produce is amazing. It's organic. It's harvested the day before we give out the produce boxes. So it's a great way not only to support the community, but to get fresh produce. And we also have recipes on our website, because every once in a while you will get some produce that you might not be as familiar with. So we have all of that information on our website.
All right. And so people can track that down at camelbackyard.com. So that way they can, and I love the fact you're offering an option other than just a box, because I know for a small household, a box can be a little daunting to try and get through.
Totally.
Or even prepare it and freeze it or anything else. So I love that there's the other option than a bag, which is much more doable.
Totally. And on top of that, we also have some producers separate producers that sell to our boxes. They sell soap, they sell desserts. We just got a baker, I believe, Jess, that's going to start up with us soon. So you can purchase more than just produce from Camelback Yard.
Oh, wow. So tell us about some of those baked goods are going to be coming.
Well, hopefully soon. Hopefully it'll start real soon. That's my hope. But hopefully it's going to be Syrian bread. And so it's really good. It's a little bit sweet. So it's made with like milk powder, bread yeast, fennel seed, anise seed, black seed, corn oil, very simple, basic things. And I've eaten it just as the bread. I've eaten it with pasta. I've even tried putting honey on it. So it's like a very versatile bread that is made by one of our bakers. And so and she also does henna too. So it'd be really exciting to get her. I know. I can't wait.
It's like we'd all get henna tattoos. How much fun will that be?
There you go. Some baked goods and henna by Rabba. And yes, it's a very well-known holiday bread. And for those that celebrate Ramadan, Eid Mubarak. It is a holiday, and that's the bread that is often accompanying the holiday iftar meals. So I'm excited to see that come.
Well, so I have a question. So this is Alan from Kansas. What do you make soap with? I should know this from going to Silver Dollar City, but I don't.
Jess helped teach that class. Jess, you're an expert soap maker.
I was there, but I was so busy trying to socialize the whole time.
Yeah. If only Sarah were here.
I know, Sarah's the one. I mean, the soap is all made from, just stuff that's like organic, so things that are not going to irritate your skin. And I definitely love the soap because my skin always gets really irritated, so I have to be really careful. And the soap also, what I love about the soap that we sell is like when you put soap in the bathroom on the tub, and then it's no longer soap, it's just a goopy mess, even though you feel like it's saver. Yeah, exactly. This soap doesn't do that. So, and one of our sellers, she's actually the one who does the soap. She's also selling at other markets as well. And so her stuff smells good. It has coffee. She has a coffee scrubs. So if you're looking for some really natural, feel good soap, as well as helping the refugee community, I recommend just buying up all the soap, because if not, I will. I'm a soap person.
I think that was one of the options on there too for supporting year-round is downtown Phoenix Farmers Market, who are amazing partners and provide a launching pad for refugee businesses in the microenterprise program. So amazing team down there. We have 6 different businesses that are participating at the downtown Phoenix Farmers Market. We have Finer Arts by Nada, Al Zubani Syrian Sweets, Dalat's soap there that that Jesselyn was speaking about, Rodain Syrian Kitchen, the Golo Family Farms, Alhamka Family Farms. So definitely a way that you can support refugee-owned businesses year-round.
So quick question. I know we had shown your website. Now, does that give a list of restaurants and other businesses in case people wanted to support directly that community?
Yes, we do have our business directory listed on rescue.org/Phoenix, but we can put that in the chat there to get specific information to our local businesses here.
Indeed, because there's so many amazing restaurants that people just aren't aware of. So
absolutely,
that's kind of
valley-wide. So we have a little
map
on there to see what's near you. But
even a map? Oh, I didn't realize it was a map. Ooh, exciting. So that was I'm driving around the valley. I can stop into a nice little mom and pop restaurant and get some good home cooking.
Absolutely. They do catering orders. So, if you're doing private dinners at home, that's certainly something that you can consider. I know Jesselyn was talking about Raba's Henna. She does a lot of private events, weddings, house parties, things like that. So as we start to, as things get safer, everyone's getting vaccinated, getting back into the community. Certainly there are some opportunities to visit restaurants, but also provide catering for your next event.
All right, and I'm just putting the website in.
Yeah, I'll put a direct link to the business directory so everyone can see that.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize there was a map. I mean, so that way, I love the idea that I can drive around the valley and support small micro businesses, which is really nice.
Absolutely.
And then I know, I'm going to give Tony C a shout out because I know he would love if people would go to some of these restaurants and then do local buzz to highlight some of those things.
Yes, indeed. We have to give a shout out to Local Buzz. I've seen you posting on there, by the way, Marshall, but that's...
Indeed, I know. Actually, I got a little chastised today from Tony because I haven't been on in a while, but I'm like, I haven't really been anywhere. So...
Well, an amazing community tool that actually many of the refugee businesses that we work with, you can find them posting videos on there, just sharing their art. It's really a tool that was created to connect communities, especially as, everything was going on with COVID. Businesses were forced to shut down. This was an opportunity to continue to connect in a really accessible way. It's an open platform, so anybody can just download the Local Buzz app or just go straight to the website to get a feel for it. But we're certainly grateful for the team there who's been out showcasing some of the amazing work of these small businesses.
Indeed. All right.
I feel better now, Marshall, that I'm not the only one that Tony comes at me if I'm not posting.
Oh no, I actually got a phone call this morning and I was like, man, because he saw Danielle on and he was like, well, I see having Danielle on. Like, people have been asking, where are you? And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I saw Local Buzz on this show, so it was great that you feature them. But they do so many, Tony's just a trailblazer out in the community doing so many amazing things. But to see that app kind of come to fruition at such a critical time to connect our community, it's just been amazing, and it's so easy to navigate in real time, see what's going on around you. So you might find that one of these businesses is right in your neck of, right in your area. So definitely check that out.
So yeah, so Jocelyn, I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one who raffed.
Yeah, no, we all show these businesses some love. Tony's always saying, show them,
Exactly, you got to show them some love.
Yeah, to the local artists, that's certainly something that keeps us inspired, right? Seeing the amazing art that people are doing, the ways they're going out in the community, hiking, just enjoying the outdoors, connecting, building bridges. It's a really neat resource for us to have here. So.
Right, and it's I get tired of my own home cooking. It's so nice to be able to go have somebody else's home cooking.
Oh my gosh, some of the food that's posted on there.
Oh, I know.
The chef's actually cooking, and
yeah, no, that's why. I mean, I love posting about First Cup because I can just walk there.
Yeah, so it's really a website. It's an app about building others up, right? Building up others, supporting them in their passions, connecting with our neighbors, and just building stronger communities. And it's especially important right now as we've kind of been apart for the past year. So
right.
it couldn't be more timely. And big kudos and shout out to the team for supporting our local refugee businesses. Very thankful for that.
Yeah, and that's why I'm really hoping that maybe December we might actually even have a World Bazaar again. We can only hope.
Fingers crossed. Definitely.
I mean, as the world seems to be opening up a little bit.
Yeah, Justin's also leading a super cool project coming up. You want to tell the people about that?
Yeah. So we're going to be opening up an artist collaboration center. It's going to be located near 19th and It's 19th Avenue and Northern Ave. And we are super excited because we are going to be hosting or having local artists come in and teach, as well as offer any classes, be able to offer business technical assistance out of there. And just be a space to gather for local artists to come. And they have this beautiful sort of courtyard. So we're hoping to also hold some smaller outdoor markets over there. So we're hoping
that 19th North?
Yes.
Oh, that's when you're saying with the courtyard. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So we've been lucky enough to be allowed to use that space. And so we're hoping to have a soft opening around World Refugee Day around there in June 10th or that week of June 20th. June 20th, perfect. And so hopefully we'll get some classes out of there. I know I'm excited because I think Nada's going to try and teach some fused glass. So I'm going to learn how to make some fused glass. The soap making, Anna, your dad needs to come down and learn how to make some soap. So
absolutely.
Oh, perfect. Good. So look for
Marshall, that's some good history too at that corner there, the School for Wayward Girls. We were talking about the history of that space and how we want to, this is an opportunity to rewrite the narrative and largely uplift women in the community, artists in the community. It'll be an initiative led by the community, but there's a lot of history I know in that building there.
There is indeed a lot of history.
It's a beautiful space.
It's when you look at it, it's the only Albertson that actually looks Spanish. I mean, it's because they tried to make it fit in with the rest of the architecture that was already there.
Yeah, so that's a pretty neat space. I know I'm eager to dig in a little bit and learn more about it. But it's cool that you can still see they've preserved a lot of that exterior architecture. So
right.
we're really
No,
excited.
I'm glad you guys were able to use that space because it's such a great space.
Absolutely.
So Jesselyn, so when do you look at starting that?
So we're looking to have the soft opening the week of World Refugee Day, so around June 20th. But we're gearing up for it. So right now we're figuring out who's going to be sort of the first artist we want to bring in and do classes, because we really want this to be refugee artist led, not just us come in and be like, this is what you're going to do, right? We want this to be a place for refugees and artisans to come and collaborate there, and us to just be there to help any way we can. So that's our hope. And so maybe sooner than later, if Danielle lights a fire under me and I start getting my life together, then maybe.
I say, do I need to send you some matches, Danielle?
Coming soon. And while we're on the subject of World Refugee Day, we just had to say there's so many amazing events going on in that week throughout Arizona. Tucson is an area where many refugees, asylum seekers, victims of human trafficking. When I was sharing some of that data earlier, that was for our entire population, right? Over since the 80s that have come to Arizona, built homes here, built their lives. And every year on World Refugee Day on June 20th, around the world, we celebrate the strength and resilience of refugees. And Arizona, both Tucson and Phoenix, come together and are having a virtual event and to really celebrate the contributions of refugees in our community. So I'm going to share a link on that. If it'll be virtual, if anyone can join, and just show your love and support for our refugee community. So that's in the chat there as well.
All right, let me throw that over. Oh, that's...
So that whole week there will be events taking place, but on the actual day, there will be a live show just highlighting, graduations, businesses. There's a cooking show happening that week, different performances scheduled. So just an incredible way to show our refugee communities welcome here in Arizona.
Cool, and they can find all that through...
yeah, we shared a lot of links with you. Sorry.
I know, because I was like, that's an awfully long, horrendous link. My gosh.
Oh, it shouldn't be. I don't know what happened. It's showing short on my end. Oh, no, there. Oh, I didn't scroll down.
Maybe
And I'm like, yikes.
Oh, how did that happen? That's weird. No, it's just supposed to be.
So I think it's just that first part.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know. Multitasking, I put the shorter link in there.
Okay, so I will go ahead and push that out much better. Oh, wait a minute. I'm in the process of trying to get rid of some of those horrendous links so that nobody is forced to.
You mean that people don't remember that entire link in their brains? I remember links like that all day. What are we talking about?
So, Dad, how'd you do on the trivia?
I think I got, how many questions were there?
11.
I think
11.
There were
6 or 7 out of 11. So, of course, I think some of them were trick questions, but
No.
Well, that's par for the course here. I mean, it's like, you got to have some fun with it.
did better than I thought. And but I will say, I think Anna sent us the wrong link, so I don't think we're supposed to be on this video. But I just say,
you guys, yeah, this has been great. We've learned.
So this is Holly,
enjoyed it.
Anna's mom. But to Jeff and Danielle and to Anna, I really
Sorry, guys.
we greatly appreciate your passion for what you do. So it's much appreciated. You guys are improving people's lives.
Yeah, and I'll mute him now. Thank you so much.
All right. I did want to show Pam got 6 out of 11, but she said, thank you for the great info. So, and that's what this is all about, is not just how much did you know coming in, but look at all you can now know, whether you want to get a box or a bag of some amazing produce. And I rumor has it there's lots of okra and maybe even some baked goods coming your way, which is really tasty.
Yes, that fire also I need to move on.
All right, now we do have someone asking, where can we go to learn more information about Refugee Day and how can we support the Arizona refugees? Well, we just kind of we've been talking about that as we go along, but where can they find more information about Refugee Day? Is that
So it is a collaborative effort through many of the organizations throughout Arizona. So many partners come together for this initiative, including all of our refugee resettlement agencies. We have AIRS, Catholic Charities, Lutheran Social Services, who has an amazing women's empowerment program. So many partners coming together, and that's really what it's about, right? Is again, just showing that welcome and coming together. And you can go to World Refugee Day Arizona to learn more about the statewide efforts that are taking place. And certainly you can go to our website at rescue.org/Phoenix to donate, to learn how to volunteer, whether it be through our Welcome Center. We have a lot of virtual opportunities taking place now as well. There are also donation lists. So we have an Amazon wish list that you will find either on our website or on our Facebook page, International Rescue Committee in Phoenix. But certainly this is a community effort, and we need all hands on deck, all the support we can get to show refugees welcome in Arizona. This is such a welcoming space, to help them create a sense of pride and place for Arizona. So certainly follow along and join us on Facebook. I hope there will be more to come with you, Marshall. We appreciate your support tremendously.
Oh, of course. I'm looking so forward to when we can do another global walking food tour.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's like we were planning one and then COVID hit, and it's like, okay, well, that's not going to happen. So.
Oh my goodness. We need more mouths to feed, because oh my goodness, we ate so much food and they gave us so much to take home for leftovers.
Exactly. So yeah, so look forward to being able to do that tour again. It was so much fun getting to hear from all those folks, introducing them to so many amazing little mom and pop restaurants right off a light rail. So you can just take a train, go grab a quick bite, get back on the train and go home.
Yeah, and one of our first pho restaurants in Arizona, Yaveng, very popular pho restaurant there in the corridor. So
indeed.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us and letting us know how we can support IRC and some of the great work that you guys are doing with our refugee community.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So I look forward to when we can all sit down and share some great coffee at First Cup together.
And then Marshall, I'll see you at my opening.
Yeah, please. I mean, please let me know when it is. So more than happy to. And maybe I'll even do a local buzz from there.
Oh, snap. Tony's highlighting.
He's like, yeah.
I hope his ears are burning, because he said he was going to try and log on tonight, but he would have been commenting if he had heard his name and wasn't able to chime in about it. So
That's
all right. Well, thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Nice meeting you, Anna's dad.
Have a great night.
Bye, all.
Bye. Oh, so much fun. Such great information. So now you can see why I said, you're going to want to click on share, because there's going to be all kinds of great stuff coming through. So thank you so much for joining us for our trivia. And so now you might want to click on share, so that way all your friends can see all the amazing stuff that we were talking about. Well, and so now we're ready for some show and tell. And since I knew we were going to be talking about food, I wanted to, oh, and it's picking up the green screen. So this is the Arizona Cookbook. The original copy was done in 1974. And so it is full of all kinds of great things, such as, I mean, you have the ever classic Navajo fry bread, as well as there's smoke eye corn cakes. So if you're ever up in Prescott, oh, I don't know, there we go. Smoke eye corn cakes. So the smoke eye were a fake indigenous tribe that never existed that were created. And so there is a museum of Native American culture up in Prescott that's in an amazing, beautiful building that was home to the Smoke Eye, which was a philanthropic organization. But I mean, they've got barbecue things. I mean, you can do all kinds of spare ribs and sauce. I mean, I just love the mix of things. I mean, I have a whole collection of just Arizona cookbooks. I mean, pickled figs. Oh my gosh, that sounds really good. So I'm looking forward to hopefully over the summer, maybe do some pickling just to not avoid having to fire up my stove. So that is our Arizona cookbook. And maybe as we go through the summer, I will unleash some of the things I've pickled or something else. Next week, we have Jenny, who is the mayor of Fountain Hills, coming on and talking to us about the history of Fountain Hills and that really cool fountain, which has an anniversary. So looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And also remember, if you have any suggestions, questions, comments, feel free to throw them in the chat, or you can also throw them over into Facebook, Instagram, or even email. It's all good. So again, I want to say thank you all for joining us this evening. I always love to give a shout out at the end of the night to PJ, who created an amazing cocktail tonight using so many herbs from IRC's growers and right down to the sugarcane, which he had to juice. So I want to wish you all an amazing Arizona beautiful weather night. The days are a little warm, but the nights are pretty spectacular. So I'd also like to give a shout out to Chris and Cole, who created the music and the video for the intro, as well as Mr. Ho's Orchestratica for our outro music that is set to found film footage from Arizona's past. So thank you all so much and have a great rest of your evening. And I will see you here next week, same bat time.